Hey everyone, it's Christina from Enhance for Dance. I'm here with two tools today that I want to go over because I've gotten a few questions lately on how to use a foam roller and a lacrosse ball for rolling out or doing myofascial release. So these are, obviously this is a small, you can use a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball, you can throw this easily in your dance bag, and even this isn't really that bad to carry with you. Who knows, if you have a big dance bag, you can probably fit this in there too, but this is a foam roller, like I said, lacrosse ball. So we're just gonna go over a couple body parts that you can implement before and after your dance training, especially before. So the first one that we're gonna do is we're just gonna roll out the back. So I want you to start at the bra line, lay down, bend your knees, press your hips up, and then just roll up and down the back. You can go into your shoulder blades and then pressing to about the rib cage. You can go and get into the lats a little bit more if you roll from side to side. You might get a couple cracks of the chest and cracks of the back. It should not be painful doing this. This one should actually feel really good, kind of like a massage. The next one we're going to do is for your butt and your hips. So I'm going to show you two ways to do it with the foam roller and the lacrosse ball. First, you're going to sit on the foam roller and you're going to take one leg and cross it over and then lean towards that leg so you're on the gushier part of your butt. And then you can roll into the lower back and into the butt and the hip area. This might be a little bit tender, but these are the rotators, so the muscles we should be using to increase our rotation and our turnout. And sometimes they get a little tight or knots in them, so we want to make sure that we can loosen them up a little bit and get some mobility to get the range of motion. So you can do it on a foam roller, or a little more intense, again, it shouldn't be painful, is to take a lacrosse ball. Make sure it's not on your butt bone. You want it on the indent, the gushy part of your butt, and then you can roll, cross the leg over if that's okay, or just put it down and roll into that hip area. You don't want to go over any bones, no matter what you're rolling, and you don't want to roll over any joints. So the next exercise that we're going to do is for the quads. You don't want to roll over your knees when you do this one. Next one, we're going to go back to the foam roller. We're going to roll up the front of our thighs, also known as your quad. For this, again, don't go over the knee joint. So you're going to lay down, you go into your elbows, careful that you're not totally ditching your back. Draw those abs in and roll to the tops of the knees and then all the way back into the hips. If you're going to have any knots, this is a place where you might find them. They're going to feel like little balls underneath or in your muscle. If you do find one of those, roll over it slowly, and then you can actually stay on it and try to let that knot dissipate a little bit. Another exercise that we're going to do, again utilizing the foam roller and the lacrosse ball, are the back of the legs. This is using or rolling out the hamstrings. I generally like to do this seated so you can let your leg dangle, so if you're on a bench. But for today we're going to do it on the floor. You're going to put the foam roller underneath those thighs, straighten the legs, and you're going to roll right until you get to your butt and then back into the knees. Back and forth like this. Again, if you're hanging the leg off the bench, you can put a little more pressure into the back of those legs. From here, you can go into the calves. So because dancers are on releve very frequently or pointing those feet, that the calves can get pretty tight. So taking some time and giving some TLC to those calves. You can even cross one leg over, puts a little more pressure down. You want to make sure you really get in the muscle belly too. You can also do that with a lacrosse ball to get a little more into smaller areas, or just get in the muscle just a little bit more. So there's another option for you. The last one, which I highly recommend every single dancer to do, is take the lacrosse ball, take off your shoes and take off your socks, and actually roll the bottoms of your feet on the ball. So you can come to a standing position. You would put the ball right underneath your foot, the arch, and you can go up to your big toe, back down, second toe, third toe, and fourth toe, and so on. And then also making sure you get right in the meat of that arch. You can also dome your foot over it, and you can also flex those toes to get some of those little intrinsic muscles that are really important to getting the toes and the ankle to point and flex in an appropriate range of motion. Hopefully those are helpful tips to utilize. Definitely throw this in your dance bag, and if you don't have one of these, you can easily purchase them. You can get them on Amazon or just contact me. We have a few extras that you can utilize into your dance training. Definitely do it before, and I highly recommend afterwards as well. These are some go-to key foam rolling and lacrosse ball modalities to help increase your mobility.